Hi, this is Mick Elliott from Electronic Specifier. I'm here at Electronica on the Electro Rent stand with George Acris, who is the VP Global Marketing. George, if I could first ask you, just give us a little bit of background on Electro Rent and its activities.
Sure, thanks Mick, good to see you. So Electro Rent is the one source for test equipment however our customers want to have it. So whether they need equipment for a short-term project, long-term, or they need flexibility to change what they're using for different projects, they can do that with Electro Rent. Our aim is to make sure that they can use it most cost-effectively, and they have access to over 200 different test equipment brands. High-end equipment, so equipment that would be very costly for them to invest in for short-term projects, through to more normal day-to-day instruments that we can also do through distribution, and then also through certified pre-owned, so used equipment.
Okay, and short-term and long-term, what sort of time frames are you looking at there, and what can maybe dictates customer choices there?
Well, depending on their project, if somebody's looking for project use or it's a test that needs to be done at a particular stage in the cycle, then it makes sense to take something on a temporary basis and pay as you use. If it's something that's long-term and it's got a production line, for example, and it's going to be in continuous use, then clearly it would make more sense to have a longer-term solution. So that could be purchased, but there are also alternatives we can structure to help them get effective use of that equipment over time.
And can you be flexible in if I'm working on a project and I've got the instrument for maybe 3 months and I suddenly think, wow, I might need it a bit longer. Can you accommodate that?
Yes, absolutely. It's what our business is based on, because we realize that our customers' needs will change, and we want to make sure that we provide the capability for them to change at a moment's notice. So whether you need something longer and you've already you've taken a hire out, for example, for a month, and you need it end up being needed for 2 months, that's no problem. And likewise, if your needs change, you can stop the cost. And that's the beauty of this service, is you can say, I thought I needed it for longer, but actually I'm going to have to stop it earlier or change. So say, I need a different instrument. I need to add, I need to take away from my needs. That's the flexibility that we aim to offer. That's our position, our proposition into the market of test and measurement.
Just recently, Electro Rent expanded into a new facility in Mechelen. Can you just talk us through why you did that and what it will bring to your customer base?
Well, it's also about expanding footprint in distribution in Europe. We are already an important distributor in the Americas, and we've been sort of growing that in Europe as well. So we wanted to have greater capability to be able to distribute from Mechelen, and it also gives us additional scale to grow in the future, because we plan to add more. We've recently announced we have agreements with Keysight and Tektronix, and now also with Exfo in the communication space, and data centers is a big and growing part of the business as well. So yeah, that's our intention, is to do that alongside what we're finding here, the conversations that we're having about evangelizing the need to look at the options that you've got before automatically buying equipment and saying there's nothing, that's absolutely a good option, but there are other options if you don't need the equipment all the time. So that's what we aim to bring, and we've had a lot of those conversations today at Electronica. A lot of people saying, wow, you mean I can rent that high-end instrument? You've bought it and we can take it for 2 weeks? And absolutely. So that's a message that's resonated very well.
Okay, I guess Mechelen also gives you the opportunity, one, to expand your inventory as you need to, and secondly, I think it enables you to offer more technical support for customers as well.
Correct. I mean, it's a state-of-the-art facility. We really have, it's the people as well that make it happen. So we have a very good, very strong engineering team and logistics team that help us support that delivery to the customer, both in terms of being able to advise customers as well on what equipment they need, so to give independent applications advice and say, this is the type of test you need, maybe we can help them find the right solution, and then how should they deploy it. So, is it something that can come from if it's an instrument that is needed continuously that can come from distribution, or is it something that they need higher end that might be needed from a rental perspective? So Yeah, the team is very important, and that investment in Mechelen is in the whole sort of part of it, being logistics, being engineering, being the warehouse itself, and also testament to our plans for growth in Europe.
It's interesting you say that people here at Electronica don't realise actually that you can rent high-end instruments. Is that is that something typical of Europe, or do you need to evangelise globally?
Well, we need to evangelize globally, but for sure there are different rates of adoption in Europe, and I think there's still room to grow. I think in other industries, rental and leasing occupies a very strong percentage. There's a good knowledge that this is something that makes sense. You don't tie up your capital. You can effectively improve your cash flow. There's a lot of financial benefits and benefits to the users by the flexibility, having the latest instruments that they need with the right options, ready at a moment's notice. So I think it's just a question of getting that awareness in some countries more than others that maybe haven't, the industry hasn't had enough of that. Not the choice has been there, but actually maybe that awareness because of the way that the industry is quite specialized. So people maybe don't think of these assets as being available for rental. But the point is, obviously, we're making that investment, and we've got the ability to make those investments in those instruments so that our customers don't have to if they need it for short periods or for project use. So it's a very strong message that we're trying to get. But as I say, different countries, different levels, but it's definitely, there's potential globally for that. It's not just in Europe. But certainly there is in Europe, sort of, especially in the, in a current economic climate or when things are uncertain. It doesn't make sense to make longer term commitments, especially to capital that's so precious. So it's a good way of sort of just making sure that you can adapt and change and invest as you need to, rather than taking putting a bigger stake in something that from all the evidence you've got to be sure that you're going to use continuously, or you're going to get that return on investment. So we're helping those companies with their return on investment. So it's the engineering side, making sure they've got the latest instruments when they need it, with the options that they need and the support they need. But then it's also on the sort of commercial side for the company, and the financial side, making sure that they are using it in the most cost-effective way. And it definitely is going to deliver savings. And helping them understand, we always want to advise them on the right choice and steer them into the right way, because we know these are long-term relationships. We will give the right advice because we know that's the respect that we get, and we've been going 55 years, so we obviously are a very trusted partner in that regard. And but we know that there's more people can take advantage of this, get the benefits both ways, and we work in a cooperative environment with our customers, with our OEM partners, very, very closely, and I think it's a real positive sort of for everybody to win in this industry.
Okay, George Acris, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Mick.
That's brilliant.